Thank you. President Obama's Prague Agenda, proposing a world without nuclear weapons, starting with reductions in strategic nuclear arms, has important implications for proposals calling for the creation of an Arctic nuclear weapon-free zone. My dissertation argues that an Arctic nuclear weapon-free zone is not feasible unless the two Arctic nuclear powers, the United States and Russia, shift their nuclear policies and weapons to less provocative defensive postures to encourage cooperation on eliminating nuclear weapons in the strategically critical Arctic region. The framework I employ is an adaptation of the offense-defense balance concept for nuclear deterrence. This is to determine the intensity of the nuclear security dilemma between two rival state actors. The security dilemma describes tense relations of uncertainty, mistrust, and fear fed by perceptions of mutually threatening military technologies. I measure the intensity of the security dilemma by assessing indicators such as a state's offensive and defensive deterrent postures and weapon systems. These focus on targeting strategies and military technologies oriented for deterrence by punishment versus deterrence by denial. Deterrence by punishment threatens assured destruction through the counter-value targeting of civilian population centers such as Moscow and Washington. This is a more or less defensive strategy intended to deter threatening behavior. Deterrence by denial is a counterforce strategy. This targets the other side's nuclear assets. This is an offense-dominant strategy associated with threatening technologies and large nuclear arsenals capable of launching a disarming first strike against the other side's ability to retaliate. This intense security dilemma spirals both sides into destabilizing arms races, risking accident, miscalculation, and preemptive strike. Counterforce currently dominates the U.S. nuclear doctrine. An optimal alternative to this is minimum deterrence, characterized by smaller nuclear warheads and delivery platforms, the smallest necessary for a credible and secure retaliatory second strike, with a target set that minimizes civilian casualties while threatening unacceptable damage to highly valued infrastructure. I propose that a defense-dominant minimum deterrence strategy would create a favorable context for the U.S. and Russia to cooperate on controlling nuclear activities in the Arctic. However, findings thus far indicate that an Arctic nuclear weapon-free zone is not feasible given the current trajectory of relative U.S. and Russian nuclear policies and planned modernization of nuclear weapon systems, complicated by the renewal of hostilities between Russia and NATO. Over time, policy shifts may change, and conditions may be created, reducing tensions to encourage both of these states to cooperate on further reductions in nuclear arms and pursuing an Arctic nuclear weapon-free zone. Thank you very much.